Hi there. This is Kitty Boitnott, and we'll be starting our masterclass on Work You Love, 3 Secrets of Every Successful Job Search or Career Change in just a few minutes. It's a couple of minutes before the top of the hour, but I wanted to go ahead and get started as far as making sure that everything was working properly. It looks like on my end that it is. And I don't have anybody signed in just yet because it's not quite 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock, I guess, on the Pacific Coast and 10 Central Time. If you are signing on about now, if you would, please sign in by typing in your name and also let me know for sure that you can hear me and see me. That's important. Like I said, on my end, it looks like everything's working okay. So I've got a couple of people who are now signed in. Welcome. If you would, please type in your name and type in, I can hear you, I can see you, and we'll get started here in just a few minutes. I know we've got several people who are signed up, and I even got a message from someone all the way out in California this morning asking me to confirm what time. So I hope she's going to be joining us. Hey, Mitch, how are you, birthday boy? You just had a birthday not too long ago. It's good to see you on the call. Can you hear me? Phil, all is well. Oh, all is well. That means you can hear me and see me. That's fantastic. So welcome. And we'll go ahead and get started. Now it's the top of the hour. So what I'm going to do is switch over to my slide deck and we'll get this masterclass started. So let's see if we can pull that up and share. And there we go. Oh, not yet. Share screen on. Share screen on, share screen. There we go. Okay. And can you still see me? You don't need to see me. I don't want to be a distraction. So I'm going to turn the camera off. And here we go. So I'm so excited that you're here for this presentation. I've been working on this and honing it down. I've presented it to a number of live audiences as well as previous versions in previous master classes, but this particular slide deck is new and the presentation in general is a little bit different from what you may have seen before. So I'm really excited that you're here. Let me check to see. We're all good. So what you're going to be learning in this presentation is how to find or create, because sometimes what you want as an ideal dream job is not to be found. It's to be created. That's certainly what I found to be the case for me. So I want to share with you how you can find or create the job of your dreams, whatever that dream may be for you, without the worry of wondering if you're going about it right or not, because we have these ideas about the right way to go about job searching or creating a new career. And I want to bust up some of the myths that you may have heard or that you've convinced yourself of. And I want to set you free from some of the worry that you may have gotten yourself down with. I want to be able to free you up so that you can proceed with confidence. So I want to assure you that you are in the right place if you fit one of the following 3 scenarios. And I want you to type in the chat box A, B, or C, depending on how you respond to the individual scenario. So I'm going to be watching in the chat box to see if you are an A, a B, or a C. So here we go. You're an A if you hate your current job, or at least you intensely dislike it. Maybe hate is too strong a word. You hate your current job and you're ready to break free of it once and for all, but you don't know where to start. The reason you haven't done anything yet is you don't know how to get started. Or you're a B if you've been unemployed or underemployed for a while, but now that the economy is getting better, you're ready to make your move and you still don't know where to start. Or C, you've been out of work. Maybe your job disappeared. Maybe your company sold to another company and departments that were duplicated were eliminated, and suddenly you're out without a job. Perhaps things just didn't work out. You started with somebody with good intentions, and after a few months or a couple of years, it's just not working out. So for whatever reason, you have found yourself out of work, maybe you quit, and you're looking for a new job. Maybe you've been looking for a few months, but your job search isn't going anywhere fast, and you don't know exactly what it is that you're doing wrong. And I'm putting wrong in air quotes because it may just be that you're doing something out of the right order or you're missing a step. So if you happen to fit in A, B, or C, type that in the chat box for me so that I can see where you fall in the categories. So Phil is an A. So we're going to help you figure out what you can do to get rid of a job that you hate. And so it really doesn't matter which letter you happen to be. If you resonate, you may even be a couple. You may feel like, well, A is kind of close to it, but also B works for me too. That's okay. You're in the right place. If any of that resonated for you, you're here and in the right place. And I do believe you're not here by accident. Somehow, some way, you have found me and you are ready to explore possibilities. That's why you're here. So in case you don't know much about me, I know Mitch and I go back a ways, and we're good friends. So Mitch will know this. And Mitch, I apologize for any duplication of information that you already know about me, but I don't know if any of the other folks on the call know as much about me as Mitch does. So let me share just a little bit. I'm Kitty Boitnott. My PhD is in educational leadership. I'm a national board certified teacher, which is what NBCT stands for. I'm certified through 2023. And I'm a licensed religious science practitioner and minister, which is what the RSCP stands for. In 2016, I was named one of the top 25 career coaches online by careertoolkit.com. I'm a current member of the Forbes Coaches Council and a regular contributor to Forbes.com. I've been a featured expert in AARP, and I'm an author, a speaker, and a specialist in career development. I want to tell you that there is good news and bad news. The good news is that you are the architect of your own life and your own career. I don't believe any of us are victims. We're here by choice. We make choices every day. There are consequences to the choices that we make. The good news is that you get to choose. And that's good. Oh, sorry, I skipped over a slide. You always get to choose your next move. That's part of the good news. Now, here's the bad news. Choosing can be hard. And you're particularly stuck if you feel like you don't have time for mistakes. And that's where a lot of people, especially the mid-career professionals who come to me, that's how they feel. I've already experimented. I don't have time for experiments anymore. I need to get serious about my career because I only have another 20 years, 10 years, 5 years. I get people in their late 50s who are burnt out with their current position and they need to make a change But 5 years left before you retire means you don't have a lot of time to be playing around. So people come to me with a little sense of panic about, I'm running out of time. I don't have time for mistakes. I can't afford a mistake. But here's what I want you to consider. So you make a mistake. So what? What you want to put on, what you want to take in is that you learn from your mistakes and then you move on. Mistakes are rarely life-threatening. Now, if you're driving DUI, I guess that's life-threatening. That would be a choice that could be life-threatening. But most of your career choices are not going to be life-threatening. And you can recoup from just about any decision that you make along the way. I want you to remember that mistakes are simply learning opportunities, and they are proof that you're trying. The only people who aren't making mistakes are the ones who've given up and are just hanging on, waiting for their pension, what might be left of it, waiting to retire, waiting to be over whatever trial they're currently caught in. Here's another truth. When you're job hunting, it is a confusing and complex process. I won't sugarcoat it for you. It is. I went through it myself as I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do next in my career 5 years ago, and I was confused and found it to be complicated. And like I said, I have a PhD. So being intelligent, being educated, being smart doesn't mean anything if you're attempting to undertake an effort that you don't have any information about and no background in. And unfortunately, they don't teach how to job hunt in school. Now, in colleges, they do have career centers, but those are alternative resources. You don't take a course in how to manage your career. We should offer that. I would love if we did that, but we just don't. The other thing that makes job hunting hard and confusing is that when you ask for advice, everybody on the planet has an opinion, and they're all willing, more than willing, to share their opinion with you. If you ask 25 people, you'll get 25 different opinions. Trust me, I know. You can show 10 people your resume, you'll get 10 different opinions. So who do you trust? How do you know where to go for the right kind of help to help you break through the confusion, to break through the complexities, to get yourself onto the road to success? This is what I want to share with you today. So I would respectfully request that you turn off your devices other than the computer that you're watching this on, or the phone if you're watching it on the phone. Turn off all the other distractions. Stop checking your email and Facebook feed, and don't be tweeting unless you're tweeting about what an awesome webinar you happen to be watching right now. This is a masterclass that I promise will deliver on some concrete suggestions that you can use. Whether you would decide to work with me or not, you will be able to go forth from this masterclass with a better understanding of what a job search or career change entails. I want to help you find or create your dream job, whatever that is for you. So my promise to you is that in this presentation, you will learn the only way to find or create the job of your dreams is to know and understand these 3 secrets that I'm going to share with you. They are the secrets to finding or creating your dream job. I'm going to offer them along with a proven strategy for how you can make it happen for you. And I want it to happen for you sooner rather than later. Now, if you will stay to the end, I have a free gift for you. It's the guide that I wrote about a year ago called 10 Things You Need to Know if you think you are ready for a job or career change. This is a 94-page guide. The 10 things are outlined in the first part of the guide, and then the second part includes curated articles that I pulled together that I wrote while I was working with a company that actually offered, and I received training in career transition and job search. I worked with that company as part of their team for 14 months. And during that time, I published articles every other week, and I pulled those articles from the website and curated them and organized them according to topic. So if you want to learn more about how to interview properly, or the importance of using your LinkedIn profile, or how to get your resume ready, this guide can be extremely useful for you. So it's free if you stick around till the end of the presentation. And just as a fair warning, there will be an offer at the end. I'm running a Valentine's Day special on my signature program, Jumpstart Your Job Search. But don't let that scare you off. There's a lot of good information embedded even in the offer. So I want you to stick around. Whether you buy or not, I want you to have this information. So don't be scared off by the fact that I'm offering a special. So let me tell you just a little bit more about myself. This is me prior to my becoming a career transition and job search coach. This is me looking out over a convention of VEA convention attendees in the spring of 2012. I was winding up my final year as president of the Virginia Education Association. And I remember as I was sitting there and that picture was being taken, looking out over that group, and I was thinking about how much I loved them and how glad I was that this was my last convention. I was exhausted physically, mentally, emotionally wrung out after a very, very tough and contentious year with the governor and the General Assembly that year. But that was just the fourth and final year of 4 tough years as president of the Virginia Education Association. And so instead of feeling the energy and enthusiasm that I needed to feel to go back to my teaching career, I realized I didn't have any energy left. I was exhausted on every level. And I worried, how am I going to have the energy to keep up with kids, the enthusiasm? How will I do the lesson plans and get back on track with everything that I would have to know? My assignment was to teach English in a middle school. I hadn't taught English since 1980. I didn't have any interest in the testing regimen that teachers have to participate in today. I just knew I didn't have it in me. So I ended up retiring early, much earlier than I had planned to, but I didn't really know what else to do. All I knew for sure at that time was that I was exhausted and I couldn't bring myself to wanting to teach again. So I took 6 months off. And because I realized I needed a break and I was financially able to, I just took a sabbatical. And from August, when my term came to an end, until Christmas, I pretty much went on a chill break. I didn't set an alarm. I didn't read anything I didn't want to read. I didn't watch TV much. I just relaxed. I needed to get back to myself again, and it took every bit of 6 months. In January of 2013, I thought, okay, it's time for me to think about work. The problem I ran into was that I have too much education to be qualified for a lot of things. I'm overqualified for most things. And after being president of the VEA, where do you go? What kind of job would you even want, really? So I was at a loss, and I hired a coach. And one of the things she recommended that I do is to get out from behind the computer, stop looking for jobs online, get out and meet some people, do some networking. So I went to a networking event, and at that event, I learned about another event that I attended the next day that was very similar to this. And the gentleman who was speaking that day talked to the topic, follow your passion, find your next job. And as I sat and listened to him, everything sort of seemed to fall into place for me as far as what it was that I really wanted to do. My passion is teachers, helping teachers as much as I can. I still wanted to be involved with teachers, even though I didn't want to teach anymore, and not in the traditional sense. So the other thing that this career coach offered that I found so impactful that day was that this was all in February of 2013. In January of that same year, just a month before, Gallup had put out a new poll that said that 70% of Americans either hate their job or they're simply disengaged. And here we are, 5 years later, almost to the day, and the statistic isn't a whole lot different. There are more people who are working, but the percentage of people who either hate their job or are simply disengaged is still about 70% of Americans. And you know what? It's 85% in some other countries. And what the study shows is that people may hate their job, but they hate their boss more than they hate the actual job. And I remember sitting there in that audience, listening to that career coach thinking, I don't want to go back to work only to find that I'm hating it. Who would want to do that? I don't want to be a part of the I hate my job club. I mean, do you? Who does? I realized too that at the age of 60, I had reached the point where I've lived at least 2/3 of my life. At the age of 60, I was probably not as hireable as I might have liked. But I also realized that I didn't want to spend a single day of the life I have left doing something I don't absolutely love and enjoy doing. My dad died in an accident when he was 63. I've already lived 2 years longer than he did. There were many days that he went through the motions of work that he didn't enjoy. I watched him. I also watched my mother, who did actively hate her job, but she stuck with it for 20 years. She complained about it almost daily. I didn't want to be that way. I didn't want to follow that path. I wanted to feel like this young woman looks like, yeah, I've got this. This is my path. This is my passion. This is what I want to be about. And so I realized that I was going to have to reinvent myself if I was going to make that happen. I needed to retool myself in a new direction, and then I needed to completely reinvent who I was professionally. I'm not a teacher in the traditional sense anymore, even though I identify with teachers. And in my practice, I deliberately work mostly with teachers who are feeling burnt out, teachers who have come to a career crossroads and realize that they cannot do this work anymore. They need to find an alternative. And out of all of that was born my company, Boitnott Coaching. I specialize in career development, and I especially specialize in helping people vision a future for themselves that they can't imagine when they first start to come to work with me. And then we work through the steps of transition that it takes to get from the vision to the ultimate reality. Now, that's how I know what I offer works, because if I could reinvent myself professionally at the age of 60, anybody can do it. You can do it. I guarantee if I could do it, you can do it. But I also know that you may be sitting out there thinking, yeah, well, that's great for you, Kitty, but that won't work for me. You might be skeptical, and that's okay. I want you just to hang out with me for a little while to let me share more with you why I believe it is also possible for you. And I want to assure you that if you've ever tried this in the past and you failed at it, it's not your fault. And if you're concerned that this time you won't be able to succeed, I want you to put those fears to rest. All you need is the right information and the right support to help you do what you need to do with confidence. So I believe you can do this, and I want you to be able to do it with all the confidence of this little guy. Now, it does require that you allow yourself to dream big and that you're willing to set goals that will help you to get to your ultimate dream, and that you're willing to take action. This help that I'm offering doesn't allow you to sit by and wish and hope that the job fairy will come knocking at your door. It does not work that way. But if you don't dream big, you wind up settling for something that you don't really love. And I don't want you to do that either. So dream big, set big, audacious goals, and then take action in that direction. That's the key to your ultimate success. You'll start out as a novice, somebody who's just learning. You don't know as much as you need to know in order to be successful. You become a learner. As you learn more and more information, you become more skilled and you understand better how all of the different moving parts of a job search or a career transition work. And as you continue to work through it, you become advanced until you finally become an expert. These are the steps that you have to follow, but everybody starts at the novice level. Nobody is just an expert overnight without some effort, without learning. So are you ready for the 3 secrets? Now, I've teased you that they're secrets. They really aren't secrets. But here are what I believe are the 3 keys to success in job searching or career changing. First, you have to know what you want. I know it sounds so simple, doesn't it? What do you want? I ask people this all the time. If I gave you a magic wand and asked you to wave it and you could be anything you wanted, do anything you wanted, have anything you wanted, what would that be? What would it look like? And 99 out of 100 times people, I can hear the shrug in the phone. You know, I wish I knew. And here's what I believe. I believe you do know. I believe you've been conditioned to believe you can't have it, so you've given up on it and you've forgotten. You know, it's somewhere inside you what it is that you want. What were you born to do? What is your natural talent? What can you do more easily and with less effort than anybody else? Those are cues. Those are clues to what it is that you should be doing instead of what you may be doing now. So that's secret number 1. Answer the question, what do you want? I ask people all the time, what's next for you? What do you want now? You started out in your previous career wanting something different. Now you're here wanting something yet again that's different. What is it? The second secret to success is knowing how to use all the different job search tools properly. Now, why do I say properly? You need to know what the protocols are. Job searching is a complicated process. I'm not kidding when I say that. It's like following a schematic. You start here and you can wind up over here, but maybe you'll wind up over there, and it's not a straight line. I wish it were. It would be a whole lot simpler. And if you don't know the rules that go along with job search, you can shoot yourself in the foot and ruin your chances before you even get a good shot. So, secret number 3 is that you must be willing and able to develop the determination, the perseverance, and the patience, which is where a lot of people fall short. The patience to put all those tools together. Then you need to develop a powerful plan of execution. Now, I wish I could tell you that your success will be a straight line from here to there. No deviations, no setbacks. Unfortunately, that wouldn't be the truth. The truth is that success in job search requires 3 steps back and 3 steps forward and sometimes 2 steps back. It requires determination that you may not have even known you had. It requires that you not allow yourself to succumb to panic. And I've seen panic. It's not pretty. So what I'm offering is that there are ways for you to learn first what you want, then the tools that you need, and then to develop the plan of execution and call upon the determination and perseverance that you have to stick with it so that you don't give up before you're successful. This is Deanna. She's one of my clients. And just a few days after she purchased my program, the Jumpstart Your Job Search program, she wrote to me to say, I have to tell you, the spring in my step is back. I'm already feeling reinvigorated. This investment has brought remarkable value already. So let me ask you, if you followed what I showed you in the 3 secrets of successful job searching, along with helping you to decide what you want, offering the tools that you need, and helping you develop a powerful plan of execution, do you think you could be successful? Of course you could. You would have the tools and the formula for success at your fingertips. The first thing you must develop, however, if you're going to be successful in this job search business, is you have to have focus. And this is where I find a lot of people are falling short right from the get-go. They've been applying. If they've been looking for a while, they've been applying for every job that looks remotely like something they think they could do. They don't have a plan. They don't have a strategy. They haven't decided what it is they want. They think they have to take what they can get. And I want to turn that on its head. And I want to suggest to you that you decide what you want. And then you look for that. And you apply for that with a laser-like focus so that you're not wasting your energy or your time or the time of the people who are receiving your resumes that are meaningless because you're not really qualified for the job. You're instead focusing your energy on the right things and with the right amount of clarity. It's like planning a vacation. Let me just ask you, would you plan a vacation and not know where you're going before you book your airfare and your hotel room? I don't think so. You first decide where you're going, and then you work backwards from that, right? If you're driving, you might take side trips. You might get off at different times to get gas or get to the bathroom or stretch, but you get back on track toward your destination. You don't just keep driving. If you do, you're going to get lost. And that's what a lot of people do. They have a kind of a foggy sense of what they want to do, but they get pulled off course, pulled off track by all these tangents that they keep following, like squirrels down a squirrel or up a tree, or rabbits down a rabbit hole. People get sidetracked way too easily. I also want to suggest that you don't write your resume until you've decided what it is that you want, because your resume needs to speak to what you want to do, not necessarily what you've been doing for the last 10 years, but what you want to be doing moving forward. And you can't write a resume that speaks to that if you instead write a resume that only speaks to what you've done for the last 10 or 15 years. So the resume doesn't get written first, which is in and of itself a different approach. A lot of people think the first thing to do when you're job searching is to write a resume? No. The first thing to do is decide, what do you want? Then you write the resume. And then you look for jobs that fit what it is you've decided you want. And you tweak the resume every time you apply for a different job to make yourself a tighter fit for that job. Have you ever applied for something and you never heard anything back? Crickets. And you wondered, did they even get my application? And the truth of the matter is they may not have. Because if you weren't a good fit for the job description, the applicant tracking system kicked you out of the running and nobody ever even saw your application. So you need to understand how that applicant tracking system works too. And you need to know how to write a cover letter. Many people screw up their cover letter by regurgitating in the cover letter everything that's in the resume. That is not what the cover letter is for. But you need to learn how to do that properly. Your LinkedIn profile must be up to date and fully completed. And that means you have to spend some time on it. Having a profile is not having a properly filled out LinkedIn profile. You need a customized URL. You need to have a headline that speaks to what you want to be doing in the future, not your current job title. These are little things that people pay attention to. And if you don't understand how LinkedIn works, you can overlook them and end up, like I said earlier, shooting yourself in the foot before you even get started. You also need to be aware of how you're showing up online in your other social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I recommend that every job seeker do a social media audit. Make sure that what you have up and live for people to see is what you want strangers to see, not just your friends and family. Because whether you like it or not, potential employers will look for you on Facebook, in Twitter, on Instagram, in addition to LinkedIn. And if I had somebody call me a few months ago, when I Googled his name, the very first thing that came up was that he was engaged in a lawsuit. That was on Google. So, that's not great. That goes beyond what I can help him with. So you need to be aware, though, so that you can address that if that's the kind of thing that's popping up for you. And you can't hide. Google won't let you hide these days. And in fact, if you hide, that's a red flag for a potential employer. They want to be able to find you. They just want to find the good stuff. And then there's the interview. Now, I tell people all the time, the resume itself is not going to get you the job. The resume is intended to get you invited for the interview. And it is in the interview that you actually close the deal. And if you don't go in 110% prepared, looking the part, speaking the part, acting the part in every moment, you can blow it. And a lot rides on that interview, needless to say. So I help people prepare. I have a mock interview that we go through. I help them figure out what questions they can anticipate and how they might frame answers to particular questions. I had a client a while back who was trying to figure out how to explain that he had left a pretty good job, and now, after working at a grocery store for a while, he was wanting to get back into the professional field that he had left voluntarily 6 months earlier. And the truth of the matter was he didn't like his boss. He didn't care for the boss's supervisory style, and he quit. He took early retirement. I don't think it was early retirement. He took a package and left. And so how to explain that? You can't say, well, I really didn't like my boss. So we crafted a way for him to answer truthfully and in a way that wouldn't prompt follow-up questions. And it worked. He is now in a very high-level position doing the work that he loves to do again. and helping him with that one interview question that we both knew could really blow the entire interview. We worked through that very, very carefully so that he would have the right answer for that question. So I know it's a lot. A lot of moving parts, a lot of moving pieces, and it all boils back down to, what do you want? And if you're really stuck, like a lot of people are, trying to figure that out, one of the things that I suggest that you do is go back and consider, what did you daydream of being when you were little? When you were 3 or 4 or 5? When you're a little kid, everybody asks you eventually, what do you want to be when you grow up? Have you ever heard a little kid say, I don't know? No, they all know. I want to be an astronaut, a fireman, a doctor, a nurse, whatever. So whatever it was for you, think about that. Is that something that you left behind because you didn't think it was possible, or life distracted you? Life does get in the way of our aspirations on occasion. We have all these big plans, and then we meet the love of our lives and we get married and start a family instead. That happens, but that doesn't mean that you can't get yourself back on track. So one of the things that happens when kids are little is that they share what they want to do, and somebody tells them, no, you can't do that. And because they're little and they don't question the adults in their lives about things like that, they accept that. Okay, no, can't do that. And so they either forget that part of their lives or they suppress it. And now, 20 years later, it keeps coming back up, and they need to be able to express it. Something else that comes up when people are job searching is to consider, what is it that you're most afraid of? What's keeping you stuck is usually fear. So what is it that you're most afraid of? Many people would say the fear of failure. They don't want to look foolish. They don't want to look like they tried something and failed. They would be embarrassed. Truth is, nobody's really paying that close attention. You're projecting onto other people. Other people don't think about us nearly as much as we tend to think that they do. So, don't worry about embarrassing yourself. That's just not going to happen. You might feel embarrassed, but other people are not going to pay attention. And some people are actually afraid of success. If I'm too successful, how do I manage my relationships with my family who are still not successful? How do I show them that you can be successful when we grew up in a family environment where, everybody had to struggle? So success is elusive for some people because they fear the success as much as they fear anything else. I have this magnet on my refrigerator that asks every day, I'm reminded every day, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? Another way to ask the same question is, if money were no object, what would you be doing right now? If it's different from what you would be doing in your regular everyday life, you need to take a look at that. If it's the same, if money wouldn't make a difference in how you're living your life right now, then congratulations. It means you've hit the jackpot. Now, I also want to offer to you some information that came from a 2015 Intuit survey or study. And this is for the people who may be thinking, I'm just over being an employee. I want to own my own business, but I'm not really sure how that might work out. And the fact of the matter is, according to this Intuit study, we are moving into an entrepreneurial-based economy. That's probably not a surprise to you. But here are some statistics that you might not be aware of. By 2020, more than 40% of the American workforce, or 60 million people, are going to be working as freelancers, contractors, and temp workers. The report also says that by 2022, because remember the report was written in 2015, and they were projecting into 7 years, the number of small and personal businesses in the United States alone will increase by more than 7 million. And that means that full-time, full benefit jobs are going to be harder to find. Most of these businesses will be web or mobile based and will work closely with a global workforce. More people than ever will be working remotely from a location of their choosing. In 2020, 1 in 6 Americans will be 65 or older, but they aren't the traditional seniors like our grandparents. They're going to continue to work, full or part-time, until they don't want to work anymore. So what does all that mean for you individually? Where do you want to be in 2020, 2025, 2040? These are questions you should be asking yourself. And you need to consider, too, what will the jobs of the future even be? Are you trained properly? Is it time to be getting new training so that you'll be prepared for the future? Now, I know not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Everybody has and should have a different idea of what their dream job is. And for some people, it may be staying in the same industry and simply going for a promotion, or having a different role, but still inside the same type of industry or organization. And for some people, it means leaving the traditional job behind and striking out on their own. Here's good news, more good news. You don't have to change overnight. And in fact, I wouldn't want you to. I would want you to be strategic, not impulsive. Small steps lead to big changes. With that said, however, I think it's important to understand that there's no point in delaying getting started. You're not getting any younger. Day by day, time ticks on. It's been said that the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, and the next best time is today. So let me share quickly the story of John Grisham, who is the ultimate career changer. You probably know him from his many legal thrillers. He started writing novels in something like 1983. He was a small-town Mississippi lawyer. He witnessed a trial that inspired an idea for a book that he could not get rid of. The idea would not go away. He didn't have time to write full-time, so he decided to get up early every morning and write for half an hour to 45 minutes, a few pages a day on this story that he had. At that pace, it took him 3 years to get the book written. And when he did finally get it published, because it was rejected multiple times before it was ever accepted, it went out on a very limited publication, and it wasn't a big hit. But rather than to be discouraged, by the time he had finished the first book and it was going through its rounds of editing at the publication company, he had started on another book. That particular book was The Firm. That book was a success. In fact, it got bought up for movie rights almost right away. And by the time his third book, The Pelican Brief, came out, he was suddenly a best-selling author, and people were clamoring for anything and everything that he had written. So they rounded back to his first book, which was A Time to Kill. I don't know if you've read the book or not. It's tough to start out because the scenes are graphic and somewhat violent. The story is heart-wrenching. There is a movie that's been made of it with Matthew McConaughey and Sandra Bullock. And he's written since then 25 plus more books. He is the ultimate career changer. And the reason I share his story is that he didn't change overnight. He didn't quit his law practice and say, I'm going to be a novelist. He started out small. He wrote a few pages a day. He didn't give up, and he was ultimately successful. He listened to his inner voice, which would not leave him alone about that book. And I want you to do the same to your own inner voice. You have one, of course you do. And it's probably nudging you in a particular direction, and you may or may not be listening to it. When my inner voice first suggested the idea of my becoming a coach, I pushed it aside for months because I didn't see how I could make it happen. And because I'm a practical person, I kept pushing it aside. I listened to the voice that said, why would you want to be a coach? Who do you think you are? What makes you think you could be successful at that? So I don't want you to listen to that voice. That voice just delays your ultimate success. I want you to consider instead, what would you do if you were brave? There's a song by Janice Stanfield that I listen to when I need a particular kick in the butt and it's special inspiration. And it's the first line in the song is, what would I do today if I were brave? That's something you should consider, because courage is what we need in order to live happy and successful lives. Now, with all of that said, it is possible that you may not be able to make these changes, these major changes in your life all by yourself. You may need help. You know, your dream job may be something you need some assistance with, finding it or creating it, which is why I'm offering as a Valentine's Day special my Jumpstart Your Job Search program. This is a program I've been using for 2 years. I wrote it based on my experience with my clients and my training with the company that I referred to earlier. I worked with that company for 14 months as a career transition coach. And that experience working with people from all walks of life, all over the world, not just the country, I have been able to develop this program and work primarily with teachers, although I do also work with mid-career professionals from other walks of life. I have one client currently who's in Berlin, Germany, and another 5 who are here in the country, spread out all over from South Dakota to Texas. And they are engaged in the group coaching program that I would like to offer to you today to consider using to help you to be successful in finding your dream job, whatever that may be for you. So if you don't mind, I'm going to share with you a little bit about the program, because I don't know for sure what led you here today, but the fact that you're here, that you're still listening, means that you want a change in your life. And you may have decided that you could use some help in making that change. So here's what you would get with this program. Lifetime access, which means it never goes away. Any changes I make to it, you'll be eligible to tune into. It's yours. Once you've made the purchase, it is yours for as long as you need it. Lifetime. It includes a 10-part online curriculum that will help you to reinvent your career or find your next job, whichever it is that you're looking for. And you don't have to tackle the program by yourself. I will offer unlimited email support for 120 days or 16 weeks, however, from the time you sign up until 4 months from that date, you have unlimited email access to me. The only restriction is I need 24 hours to respond. And if you hit me up on a Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock, I may not get back to you until Monday. Lots of times I do respond over the weekends, though, because I want to be as useful to my clients as I can be. In addition to the unlimited email support and the lifetime access to the program, I also provide 8 group coaching calls using Zoom technology, which is a wonderful platform so that we can create a virtual face-to-face meeting with one another. The next group, the group that this particular program will be accessing, starts on Saturday, February 17th, 2 p.m. Eastern. The calls are usually about an hour, and they're all recorded so that if you can't be on the call live, no problem. You can watch the call a day or two later. The purpose of the group coaching calls is to allow people an opportunity to celebrate their successes as they work their way through the program, to get commiseration with challenges that they may run into, and to get some hot seat coaching if they need it. I'm also offering a private Facebook support page. This is something relatively new and I've been working on for a little while, so it will be fully up and functional by the time this next group starts. Each of the 10 modules consist of a video tutorial of me talking about the topic of that particular module. And along with the video, there will be supporting materials as needed in the form of recommended reading, exercises, assessments, activities, links to articles, information that I think can round out whatever is offered in the video. So here's what the modules include. Lesson number 1 is all about understanding the number 1 challenge that you have, which is deciding what you want. Lesson number 2 is all about gaining clarity and focus so that you know exactly what it is that you're doing and you stay on track toward that instead of getting pulled off track and losing focus on what it is that you want. Learn the secret of writing a resume that will get you invited for an interview. Also, that module includes a comprehensive list of all the resume do's and don'ts, along with some contemporary templates that you may use in writing your own resume. How to write a cover letter that people will actually read and not trash, and there's a template included in that as well. Understanding the applicant tracking system and how you can work around it and how it is not your friend. I mentioned it earlier. Sometimes the applicant tracking system is the reason why you apply for a job and then never hear from anybody. Create a compelling and personal, professional, in-person and online brand. There's a lesson on how to go about doing that, how to create a powerful LinkedIn profile that will attract recruiters as well as appeal to potential employers. Create a research strategy around the companies that you are interested in, and then develop that powerful plan of execution. That's all included in Lesson 8. In Lesson 9, we talk more about managing your social media footprint and its effect on your professional online brand. And finally, in Module 10, we talk about how to prepare for the interview and execute it with precision. There's a bonus built into the program that's an article all about how to go about developing patience, persistence, and not giving in to panic. And you need to know that all of the calls, the group coaching calls, are recorded, and you have access to the previous groups as well as your own group so that you can go in and watch and listen to as many topics as you need to so that you can get the clarity that you need around a subject that you might be struggling with. In addition to everything I've already mentioned, you can send me your resume. Let me know when your LinkedIn profile is ready for review. Send me your cover letters, and I will provide video reviews of the things that you send me so that you can get feedback in real time on what you might want to change, or a thumbs up that everything looks good and it's ready to go. So I've worked with a number of clients. Brooke was one of my very, very first ones. And instead of rehashing what she has to say, let me offer that you can go to my website, teachersinTransition.com, and check the tab Testimonials and Case Studies. And you can find recommendations from people like Brooke and Nikki, who was also successful after a particularly long search. And you can hear in their own voices what they say about what it was like working with me. There are a number of other case studies there as well. So I invite you to take a look at those. Now, getting back to, I'm not quite sure why you showed up today, but I suspect it's because you're interested in the possibility of creating a new chapter in your career. And if that's the case, I want to ask you to consider, what would a program that gave you a new lease on life be worth to you? Some people would say that it might be priceless. Remember the MasterCard commercial? The price of a ticket to the concert, $800, but the experience of going with your son or daughter, priceless. And many of the programs that include information and coaching, like I'm offering in this program, do cost thousands of dollars. And when I added up all of the things that are included in this program, including the bonuses that I haven't even told you about yet, the total cost of the program would be $5,175 if I were to charge what the value of the program includes. But I don't do that. Regularly, I charge $997 for the group coaching program. For the Valentine's Day special that will run through this week up to midnight Friday, February the 16th, prior to starting the new academy, I'm calling our next group coaching group the Jumpstart Your Job Search Academy. The Valentine's Day special is $796 or $199 in 4 equal payments. The group coaching dates are Saturdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, starting next Saturday, February 17th, and winding up June 2nd. Now, the reason this is really ideal for teachers who might be in the group is that you will learn everything you need to know, and then you'll have the summer to execute everything so that you'll be in full job search mode. You can turn your full attention to your job search starting in June, with the ultimate goal of not going back next year if everything works out like you want it. Now, not everything will always work out like you want it. The average job search, truthfully, lasts anywhere from 4 to 9 months. And with full employment now, the market is very, very tight and it's very, very competitive. So I can't promise that you might find a job in 4 months, 6 months, a year. But what I do know is if you're not working in the direction of making the change that you want, nothing will change. And you'll be right back here in a year wishing that you had made a change a year ago. I can't tell you how many people say to me, I wish I'd found you last year. I wish I'd found you 5 years ago. The fact of the matter is you've found me now. You found this help that's available to you now, and you can take advantage of it now if you'd like. As I said earlier, all of the group calls are recorded so that if you can't be on a call live, no worries. Now, in order to sweeten the pot, I am throwing in some really nice bonuses. For example, for this limited group, and a limited time only, I'm offering 3 private consultations to go along with the 8 group coaching calls. These 3 consultations can be used for interview prep, talking intensively about what it is that you really want to be doing next, but you're not quite sure how to get yourself there. Resume help, LinkedIn help, whatever it is that you may need. They're yours to schedule as you need them inside of the 4-month period. I'm also throwing in an extra bonus called Courage, Risks, and Rewards. This is a do-it-yourself 5-part module program that I actually recommend that you start with first before you jump into the Jumpstart program, because it will offer an opportunity for you to take a look at what is it that might be holding you back from your ultimate success. What is your attitude toward making a mistake? What is your attitude toward taking chances? Why do we in general tend to avoid chances? It's because we want to stay safe, right? What risks are you willing to take? What would support your risk taking? And then you review and lock in your attitude about risk versus reward, making a change versus the change in your life that you want. It's a really powerful program, so it's included as a bonus along with this program. I'm also going to throw in an additional ebook. You're getting one today for staying around till the end, but I'll throw in as another bonus the additional ebook that I wrote a few months ago that goes actually with this program, this webinar, 3 Secrets of Every Successful Job Search or Career Change. And I will also I'm throwing in everything but the kitchen sink at this point, a 4-part video course on Vision the Life You Want and Set the Goals to Get You There. It's based on a book that I've used called Goal Setting and Success. Make It Happen, The Secrets for Getting Unstuck, Achieving Your Dreams by Lynn Taylor. This is a 4-part video module course. It's powerful stuff. I'm throwing it in as an additional bonus. The result of all of this will be that by the end of the program, you will have learned exactly what you need to know, and you will have developed the tools and the mindset that you need in order to be successful. You will have all of the tools that you need, and more importantly, you'll understand how the rules work, and you'll be able to conduct a successful job search or career change. So I want you to start thinking about questions that you might have at this point. And I'll be talking a little bit about what I've traditionally heard are objections that people have to the program or concerns that they have about it. Let me just hit those right up front. You may have different questions, but I guarantee it's likely that you're thinking along these lines, that this is all great, sounds wonderful, wish I could afford it, not in my budget. And I know money is tight, especially if you're a teacher. You don't just drop $796 on any old thing. I do know too, though, that a lot of people are getting their tax returns in shortly, and they could use part of that refund toward this investment, because that's what this is. It's not an expense per se. It's an investment in your future. I want you to think in terms of it being like taking a course at a college or university. You would pay $800 for that or more. And so think of it in terms of making an investment in your future. Now, some people, and this is what I do, if I see a program that I think can help me professionally, I have a credit card that I hang on to for emergencies or for special investments, and I pull that out when I really want something, but it's not part of my regular budget. I use the credit card, and then I pay as I can to get the credit card paid off. Another concern people sometimes have is, I'm just too busy. I don't know how I would work in a program like this. And that's fine. What you do is schedule your time just like you budget your money. You make a list of the things that you need to do in order to get through the program. I recommend that if you can stick with it 10 minutes a day or an hour on the weekends, if working into the daytime doesn't work, that you work it out so that you can do it during the weekend. But if you stay committed to the program, you will ultimately find the success you're looking for. Now, I know some people are also wondering, but what if it doesn't, if you're still worrying, what if it doesn't work for me? Well, I have a money-back guarantee. Now, the guarantee is this. If you work your way through at least half of the program, stick with it for 60 of the 120 days, complete at least half of the modules to demonstrate that you were on track and you were doing what you needed to be doing in order to be successful, and it's still not working for you for whatever reason, then you can ask for the money back that you've invested so far. You just need to be able to tell me what wasn't working, because I want to be able to tweak and change whatever might not be working for folks. So that's my money back guarantee. Now, you might consider that, well, this is all well and good, but I'm not ready to make a change yet. And that's fine, as long as you don't feel like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. If you feel like you're stuck and you're not happy, then it might be time to make a change. It may be that you're not in enough pain yet, and that's okay too. Or you may be thinking, I can do this on my own. I don't need help. This information was useful and I can go do it by myself. And that's fine too. Trial and error works eventually. But what I'm trying to offer for you is to consider, hold on. Sorry about that. That you will develop the confidence that you need in order to be successful. That's what I want for you. It's been said that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. And what I'm offering to you is an opportunity to do something different. And I would love it if you would join us in our next group. I'm going to pull up the offer just to show you in case anybody's interested in joining the group. I'd like to have that up just so you can, if you hit the yes, I want in button, you'll be taken to a sales page. And I'd love to see you sign up and join us. We've already got several people in the group, and I would love to have you join us as well. Another way that you can get to the sign in is to go to teachersinTransition.com/academy. teachersinTransition.com/academy. If you're not ready to buy right now, you might want to hang on to that URL and think about it over the course of this coming week. The special will stay in place through this coming week. And here's to recap everything that's included: the lifetime access, the 16 weeks of unlimited email support, the reviews of your resume, cover letters, and LinkedIn, the 8 group coaching calls, the private Facebook page, the extra 3 private confidential one-on-one consultations, the other bonuses that include the ebook, 3 Secrets to Every Successful Job Search or Career Change, the Courage, Risks, and Rewards program, the Vision, the Life You Want program, and of course the 3 consultations. All of that is included and intended to help you to be successful. Henry Ford famously said, if you think you can or think you can't, either way, you're right. You're at a crossroads. You wouldn't be here today if you weren't. And I want to help you get started on a new career and a new life. I'd love it if you were my next case study. And I want you to be aware that the future is now. There is simply no point in delaying it. So with that said, let me pull up the the book I offered to share with you if you stay till the end. And so here you are. Click on Yes, I Want It to get the free book. And as I wind things up, let me just say that if you sign up for today, right now, you also get a fast action bonus. The fast action bonus is a 7-part course on managing stress. This is a new course that I just recorded recently. And if anybody wants it today, I will allow you to have it in addition to all of the other bonuses. But in order for you to get it, you have to have bought the program during this presentation. And that's it. I want you to be able to find or create work that you can love again. Life is just too short for you to be working in a job or engaged in a career that you don't love. If you loved it once but no longer do, it's time to change. And only you can decide when you're going to take that leap and change your life for the better sooner rather than later, I hope. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call at the number there, 804-404-5475. If you have questions about the program that I didn't answer, and let me go back to the chat box just to make sure that I don't miss a question that somebody might have. Nobody's posted a question. So if you have a question, call me or email me at kittyboitnott@gmail.com. I would be thrilled to be able to answer any questions that you might have. And I hope that you've gotten something out of this presentation. It is the best information that I have to offer as to how you can find or create your dream job, work that you can love again. That's it for today. Thanks so much for being here. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Bye-bye.